Management of Innovation within Linda McCartney Foods. Hello, my name is Lisa Taylor and today I welcome you to the Linda McCartney Foods digital story. Within the digital story, I will discuss the innovation performed within the business alongside the management strategies adopted to nurture and support creativity in the Linda McCartney Foods brand. Innovation can be considered as the primary driving force of progress and prosperity within organisations, in which the use of innovation management through the introduction of practices, structures and processes can be used to further develop and achieve the organisational goals. Linda McCartney Foods, established in 1991 by photographer, musician and human rights activist Linda McCartney, is a producer of a food range specialising in vegan and vegetarian products. Linda McCartney believed in great tasting, honest, meat-free food and the shared pleasure that eating well could bring, which inspired McCartney in the creation of her brand. The effectiveness of innovation within Linda McCartney Foods, with reference to innovation management theories, and the support of creativity experienced within the organisation will be discussed throughout the digital story. The impacts of COVID-19, the challenges in managing innovation and how the organisation overcomes them will be discussed, finally drawing upon conclusions. Entrepreneurs act as facilitators for innovation, providing creative solutions and ideas resulting in business growth. Linda McCartney displays entrepreneurial characteristics through turning her passion for the planet, animals and food into a successful business, whilst incorporating social values to lessen the damage to the environment caused by meat consumption and protecting animal rights. On examination of Tid Investment's innovation model, it is evident that Linda McCartney Foods experienced a radical product innovation at the beginning of their business, targeting what their organisation offers the world. It is said that McCartney started a revolution as at the beginning of the Linda McCartney Foods brand, it was entirely unheard of to have a meat-free range of products in supermarkets. However, fast forward 25 years, vegetarian food ranges are fairly common. Additionally, the business experienced a radical product innovation once again through the introduction of their Grow Your Own with Linda's initiative, offering a new service which aimed to make growing more accessible to people living within inner city locations across the UK. It is said that innovation is the key for organisational success, in which Goffin and Mitchell's framework highlights the importance that culture plays in the innovation process. To create a culture for innovation, employees must feel empowered in the workplace, which will provide value in new ways. This is achieved by Linda McCartney's Foods through the high levels of trust put into their volunteers to run and maintain the local Grow Your Own gardens. Additionally, the organisation achieves effective cross-sectional teams by creating communities of interest through the Grow Your Own with Linda's workshops and volunteering communities across the UK. Furthermore, the organisation actively avoided risk aversion through the startup of their vegetarian food range, as McCartney had not created a business before, therefore there was a large risk due to the lack of prior experience. Numerous research findings have identified the considerable impact that leadership styles have on innovative abilities within an organisation. McCartney displayed characteristics of an innovative leader in her work with the brand as her clear strategic vision of producing a unique range without having to compromise on the taste or quality of the product was considered in every product produced. Following Linda McCartney's passing in 1998, the McCartney family remained dedicated to sharing Linda's passion for wholesome cooking, keeping her enthusiasm alive in the brand. As the Linda McCartney Foods brand is sold in supermarkets across the UK, the organisation experienced minimal impacts during the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic resulted in enforced lockdowns across the country, however supermarkets remained open during the entire pandemic, therefore the brand was able to continue selling their products. As the Grow Your Own with Linda's initiative was not yet in fruition at the time of the pandemic, there was no impact experienced. However, the company remains active on Instagram, sharing tasty vegetarian and vegan recipes for individuals and families to make during their time in isolation. Innovation management, as noted by Schumpeter, is a perennial gale of creative destruction. It is difficult to understand and challenging to manage as it has to consider values and goals and the conflicting interests of decision makers. However, Holzman and Golan argue that with the right leadership style, organisations can continue to create continuous development of ideas. The Linda McCartney Foods Company displayed their effective leadership style throughout the life of the brand, as after McCartney's passing, the company was able to continue her legacy through the continuous development of ideas aligning with the organisation's cultures and values. It is identified throughout the digital story that innovation is the key to achieving organisational success. The understanding of organisational goals and values, as well as the interests of decision makers, is vital in achieving successful innovation in business, which can be achieved through effective leadership styles. Linda McCartney Foods had created a culture for innovation by creating high levels of trust, creating communities of interest and actively avoiding risk aversion, which is important in ensuring innovation and the continuous development of the brand. I hope you enjoyed my digital story on Linda McCartney Foods and gained knowledge of the innovation management strategies performed within the brand. Thank you for listening.